remember when one sits there and one sees the mountain to be very large. And this is a very, very large mountain that we're all going up, because it's the mountain that is getting bigger every day. It's the mountain of water scarcity. And I think Armand is right. When one goes along in a tough way, one has to go slowly, and one has to go together. So growing the team, strengthen the country water partnerships is a really important piece, even though one cannot expect for this to happen by tomorrow. So over the next weeks and months together, we will build an approach very much jointly with the regional executive directors on what is the best approach to do this. We talked a little bit about some of the things that we need to do here, but that conversation needs to translate into an actual program. And I think West Africa has really good experience, because you have this portfolio of country water partnerships that is so different. You have some that are practically dormant, some that are extraordinarily strong, and some that are somehow in the middle. And if one works with such a diverse portfolio, one can really learn from one side for the next one and can see what is it that one wants to take from here to there. As part of that, we will also over the next year work on the institutional setup, on the how do the regions and the regional institutions function. Here in Burkina, you have a really interesting and good model. You are your own legal entity. In some other regions, that is not the case. But also maybe there are different models for how to run a legal entity that can make you stronger. I want to say thank you for arranging the meetings that I was able to have today, for really important meetings with the Walter Basin Authority, you said, with the government, but also with IUCN and with the Sahel team. Brought very different perspectives to your work, but also reflected the work program that you have right now. So that was very helpful and insightful. Also the more informal conversation last night, and I wanted to thank in particular all of you who took out time on your Sunday afternoon, away from your families and friends, to be with a stranger from Stockholm. Luckily, the game with Senegal was just over, so that one didn't have to miss that also. All of that really helped me understand some of the opportunities that you have. I can see that the work that you've done in the last 6 months is starting to bear fruit, but I think there's also more patience needed in the next couple of months, as particularly the WMO project will make a big difference. But there's also other projects that we started developing ideas for about the last day and a half, in the area of data and technology, in the area of unconventional water resources, all of that strongly anchored in the space of integrated water resource management, but also maybe ways of collaborating differently and more intensively with key partners like IUCN. All of these were, I think, good ideas that I will capture in a note that I'll come back to Armand and you with, that we can then see what of those does one really want to take forward. So normally after a meeting like this, one is really exhausted, because one knows not only is the meetings over and one is exhausted, but also there's more work ahead. On the upside, the work ahead, I think, is going to be really exciting and interesting. I was very happy to hear from the work on the youth end that is being done, and that we need to think about together how to make it stronger. We don't have a really strong youth program globally at this point, but we will actively fundraise for that. I was also struck by the fact that there was not a single meeting I was in today where, other than myself, there were other women around the table, meetings outside. Yeah. I'm glad that here inside that's not the case. But what it means also is we all know that decisions are taken better when you have a diverse set of people taking the decision. And if water resource management is about taking decisions, then more diversity will help. So we're now starting to fundraise for a program that will help with more diversity, and I think we were able, plenty of women's pictures there, but not where you take decisions.
Yeah.
So that's a really interesting piece, right? So I'm glad to hear from Amon that you'd be interested in collaborating on some of that.
Yes.
And maybe we should actually link up with Kala.
Yeah.
He may also have some ideas on how one can do that. In summary, I'm grateful, I'm hopeful, and I am energized, and hopefully also more insightful. This will help certainly me in building the strategy going forward, and hopefully also help you. I have seen what difference it can make in my different jobs beforehand if somebody from global comes, because it can energize meetings and conversations, and I hope to be able to do some of that with you in the future. But I'm also finding sometimes when somebody from your side comes somewhere, that can also, whether it's on the global level or in another country, another region, instigate energy. And so we should think about that also going forward.